Let me ask you, if you could have a sweet pedal board or one of the flagship modelers like a Quad Cortex, a Helix, a Kemper, Axe FX, what would you pick? If you asked me that question 2 years ago, then I would pick a pedal board hands down, solely because there's no way pedals could sound as good as a modeler, right? Modelers have come a long way, so the answer to that question is much less obvious. And ultimately, I think the answer to that question really depends on what you're hoping to accomplish. And money. It always comes back to money. So let me tell you about my experience with pedals. The year is 2009 and I'm auditioning for the high school ministry worship team. I know nothing about worship guitar, but I do know that I want to play in a band. So I showed up with my Les Paul and my Vox Valvetronics amp and played some drop D riffage to show off my skills. I miraculously made the team, and that's when I was introduced to the world of guitar pedals. This is the first pedal I bought post my introduction to the pedal-centric genre of contemporary worship. It's a full-tone, full-drive 2 MOSFET. It's an overdrive pedal that has a built-in boost. It's got 3 different overdrive modes here, and then 2 different boost modes. It's actually a pretty phenomenal pedal, and I only took it off my pedal board recently. At the time, I didn't appreciate this pedal because it didn't give me like ripping distortion like Slash. Then I learned about distortion pedals. I learned about chorus pedals. Delay pedals, reverb pedals. Started going down that whole pedal rabbit hole. U2 became one of my favorite bands, and I became obsessed with learning how to make my guitar sound like The Edge. I had essentially become what I would call a producer guitarist. I was far less concerned with how good I was at guitar and far more concerned with how I could use the guitar to create different tones and textures to make music that I liked. And no, I'm not saying this is the superior way to play guitar. If you like to shred, then shred on. Over the course of the next 14 years, I bought a ton of different pedals and I put my pedal board in several different iterations. But these are the staples that I've rolled with for the last couple of years. I've got this JHS Bender fuzz, I got a Jackson Audio Belle Starr, I have a JHS Moonshine, got the Strymon bridge here, you know, Strymon Mobius, Timeline, and BigSky. The Strymon Zone. This is RJM Mastermind PBC, I think it's called the PBC 10 now. It's a MIDI switcher and a looper. I've got the Walrus Audio ACS1 on here. And then right here I got the Walrus Audio Deep Six compressor. It's a great rig. As much fun as I was having and great tones I was getting from my pedal board, something changed. As I transitioned from music as a hobby to music as a career, my needs were constantly evolving. With every gig, I would need to have new sounds or tones, so I'd have to buy a new pedal or a new piece of gear, find a way to fit it into my pedal board, recable it, reprogram it. It was just getting expensive and honestly annoying. As I learned pretty quickly on my first tour and every tour since, touring is rough on your gear. It can be pretty frustrating when you check your pedal board and you get to the place, you open it up and you see your pedal board's been ripped apart and dinged up. Oh, lovely. This pedal board is not quite as I left it. Thankfully, I haven't had anything fully break yet, but I did open up my pedal board to find one of these foot switches just totally inside of the unit. Another foot switch on one came pretty loose. And weirdly, after travel for one show, I noticed that the faceplate on my Zuma here, it moves a lot and there was a rattling noise coming from it. So I opened it up and sure enough, one of the posts that keeps the boards together was moving around in there, and the rest of the posts that are supposed to do that are completely missing. I'd never opened it up before, so I'm not sure what happened to them. That doesn't even account for how many times a cable goes down from just normal wear and tear. I know you know what I'm talking about. It's the big guitar moment in a song. You go to switch to your patch and of course no sound comes out. So then you frantically go to the floor, you're playing around with the cables, trying to get the signal back, all the while hoping nobody's really noticing what's going on, and it's just not a fun place to be, and I've been there more times than I'd like. You get it. Touring with a pedal board can be impractical. That's why last year I made the switch to the Quad Cortex. And switching to this has, at least so far, alleviated me of all the typical issues you get when touring with a pedal board. But in addition to the practicality of being an all-in-one unit, I found the tone to be equally fantastic, especially when you're using captures of drives and amps. It gets pretty difficult for me to hear the difference between the two. But the feature I think I appreciate the most is one that's meaningful whether you're a bedroom guitarist or on tour with Taylor Swift. Modelers provide incredible flexibility. Not only do you have more effects and amps and cabs than you likely had in your pedal board setup, but you can route them in so many ways to easily incorporate pedals, amps, speakers, whatever it may be. It's so easy that I pretty much use my Quad Cortex as a hybrid rig at home for just about everything I do. Of course, you could do the same thing with your pedal board, but it takes a lot more cables and more time to set up. It's just not always the most practical choice when you're trying to get some stuff done efficiently. Also, let's talk dollars, because that is a factor. My pedal board alone cost about $5,000. That's before I bought an amp or a guitar or whatever else. Meanwhile, my Quad Cortex was about $1,700 and it has more effects than I've ever had on my pedal board, and it can be an amp and do cabs. So obviously, modelers can be much more cost efficient. So let's cycle back. If I had to choose between a pedal board and a modeler today, I would actually choose the modeler. The sound quality is on par for me, and most importantly, I love how easy it is to just bring with me to whatever gig I'm playing on, and also how easy it was to integrate it with all the gear I have at home. I find that since music is my job, anything I could do to lower the barrier to what I need to accomplish is a good thing, and at least today, modelers provide me the most efficient way to accomplish what I need to. Now, that doesn't mean pedals suck. Not at all. I love pedals, and the fact that I have some pedals has only enhanced my use of the Quad Cortex. I just feel like I'm in a different era of guitar now. I kind of just dropped all the tone snobbery and ego I used to have about these things and just focused on how do I make the pieces of gear I have do what I need them to do. And it's been better. But at any rate, I still like looking at pedal board pics on Instagram, you know? I love a good pedal board. But let me know in the comments below, are you picking a pedal board or a modeler? And be sure to leave a like on the video before you head out and subscribe to the channel if you're new. It makes a huge difference and I greatly appreciate it. And I'll catch you next time.